And I always love it when Jan comes to the stage. She always gives you something different, and she always leaves you thinking about, you know, what she did. It's deceptively simple. And I just love having her on the stage. Please come to the stage, the divine Jan Windle.
Oh.
I can vouch for that.
Thank you, Mel. I've got all red now. Yeah, I like to read poems I've not read before. That's why they're always different. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. I'm going to start with quite a sad one because it's Mother's Day and I don't have a mother anymore. So it's called Staying Alive. I wrote it a year after she died when I actually started to grieve for her. So it's called Staying Alive. When she was 35, my mother said, "I shall be dead when I am 53, like my mother before me." But when she was 45, with a new son on her knee, she was still alive. When she was 65, my mother had survived 4 births, a miscarriage, operable tumours, and the interminable boredom of middle age. She had marched with CND, learned ceramics and the internet, and she was still alive. When she was 69, my mother had kept alive 3 despairing daughters, a wandering son, tens of cats, scores of mice, wounded birds and rabbits. She'd nursed her 2 sisters to their cancerous deaths, and she was fine. When she was 75, living on cheese, scotch and cigarettes, not always in that order, a stroke convulsed my mother's brain. Forgetting her death wish, she struggled back again, walked, talked, brought junk on eBay obsessively, still alive. When she was 79, the nurse said, "First ward on the right." Her pursed lips said it all, I thought. My mother will be fine. There are so many poor old women in here. The nurses patronise us. They call us dear. Last night I had to help that lady over there. I rang and rang, but no one came. But I am in such pain, such pain. No, I was wrong. She wasn't fine. When she was 80 and a day, I saw my mother's body laid in a dim chapel. Her face not peaceful, as they say, but empty, defeated, unrecognisable. She is so beautiful, so beautiful. My father sobbed and howled like a stricken wolf every morning for a year, because he was still alive. Thank you. I tend to read that one on Women's Day or Mother's Day, so I'm going to read something a little bit more cheerful now. This is one I wrote recently. The stimulus was angels and devils, and this is called Amazing Grace at the Supermarket. She knew it was an angel in the supermarket queue by the feathers escaping from the collar of the beige coat, and the way the yellow hat framed her lined face, and the calm blue gaze of her crinkled eyes. So conventional, so predictable, she thought savagely, and struck the angel's trolley hard with her own. The angel turned, frowned, then rose, burst the buttons on her sensible coat, released her powerful wings and joined combat. The security guard was looking away as they soared, grappling above the crowded aisles, up to the fluorescent lights. She was smothered in soft down under the strong pinions. She struggled to grasp the wattled throat. Breaking out through concrete, they flew together over the city roofs, and the angel's sturdy brogues skimmed past, en route for the stars. Now the angel's feet were pink and bare, her hat gone, bright hair flying about her face, newly polished to an awesome beauty. "Okay, it's true. You were ahead of me in the queue," said the angel. Still with the supernatural, in a way. This is called Daddy's Little Girl. It's a sort of fairy tale. The princess sat in her father's court. She was tall and fair and ready to wed. She loved a man, but her father thought he wasn't good enough, and a suitor ought to ride to a cave and bring back the head of a fearsome dragon, the fiery sword. The princess feared he would end up dead, because hunting dragons is dangerous sport. But he had a sword of the magic kind, and he told the princess, "I don't mind," and he galloped back with the flaming head, and the princess kissed him and took him to bed. So fathers often try to, but can't, stop their daughters doing what they want. Donald's already told you that we met in Stratford-on-Avon several years ago. I'm going to tell you my version of this, how we met, what it was like. A meeting made in heaven. Pub lunch clatter, family chatter, half-time score was vodka for Tara, half of bitter, I'll have a lager, kids want ices, chips and a burger. Nice here, isn't it? In the pen and parchment, Stratford-upon-Avon, 7 poets sat in a garden scented with melting tarmac and tubs of limp petunias. I'm last to arrive in sweltering weather at the online poets get-together. A deaf one, a sad one, a mad one, a strong one with a hat like a cowboy from Texas, one with a face like Billy Connolly, hair like Willie Shakespeare, and a kilt down to his knee, and me. In the pen and parchment, Stratford-upon-Avon, 7 poets sat in a garden scented with melting tarmac and tubs of limp petunias. Room for a little one, shift up, sit down here at the end of the sloping table. I peered up like Alice at that tea party, hoping, just. The deaf one smiled, the sad one looked away, the mad one slid under the table. The one with the hat declaimed ballads like a cowboy, and the strong one quoted If. And you, with your curls and gentle voice, looked kindly down on me. Bring her up, sit her here next to me. And we sat, you and me, knee to knee. In the quill and parchment, Stratford-upon-Avon, 7 poets sat in a garden scented with melting tarmac and tubs of limp petunias. You called to me, I came. Next to you, in that garden scented with lager and tar, the touch of your knee ignited a spark that I blew to a flame that night. You scorched my scorched lips with your scorched lips. The night was alight with amazement. The hours were decades, were moments, were flashes, were bright revelations, were lifetimes. Sleep was away and somewhere else. Though later you told me I snored. At dawn rose a kestrel over the fields, and we rose as the traffic roared on the road outside that B&B. And that's how it all began. We were woman and man on a beer-stained bench in a garden in Shakespeare's town, where poetry should have been flowing free. I found you, and you found me. In the pen and parchment, Stratford-upon-Avon, 7 poets sat in a garden scented with melting tarmac and tubs of limp petunias. Thank you.
Oh, baby. I can see them limping, I can.